Hi, you're listening to Art Horse, a silly and serious podcast about creativity and stepping out of your comfort zone.
I'm Fiona, a layabout with a law degree.
And I'm Jess, an illustrator with birds on the brain.
We're going to chat about adding art to our lives and nurturing creativity.
Well, here it is.
Art horse, art horse, art horse, art horse, art too cheap to buy jingles. Art horse, art horse, art too cheap to buy jingles. Hey, so this is it. Horse, art. Ooh, I hear a big bird.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny sound. It's like a song, kind of.
Yeah.
Like he was doing that warm-up thing, like, ho, 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 ho. Yeah. That's what he's doing. Buckle up.
How about on a more micro level, how are you doing?
On a micro level?
Yeah, on the micro level. How are you day to day?
My cells?
Yeah.
How are my cells doing?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've had a weird week because I've been quite preoccupied by how I'm perceived or what people think of me. Yeah. Like, on social media, but also off social media, just, like, in my day-to-day life, worrying about being enough and worrying about searching for approval from other people. And I think it's been really wearing me down. So,
yeah, man.
I read this thing, I think, like, in maybe chapter 10. But she said, like, the way out is through creative endeavor or something, like the way out of feeling shitty. And I kind of found that, like, I feel terrible, but I am also aware that I just need to keep, I don't know, I'm lost. I'm really stuck today.
That's okay.
But I see that you have a bunch of interesting things to say.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I kind of wish that I had planned out more what I was going to say, but I can try to just like talk it out.
And then we'll cut it to sound interesting.
We'll cut it to bits, exactly.
Because I feel like you've got a lot of juicy stuff where I really don't have that much juicy stuff, but I'm excited to hear
my juice.
What you have to say. Yeah.
All right. Ew. So, I'll just explain first off, like for anyone who hasn't done the artist way, there's 2 tools in your toolkit, the morning pages, which we've talked about quite a lot. And then there's also the artist's date, which you're supposed to do every week.
Right.
And it's just...
Sorry, hold on. I didn't want to interrupt you.
That sounded juicy.
Yeah. I can take care of that myself, it turned out. Okay. So there's 2 tool boxes. 2 tools.
Are you okay? Did that sneeze just scrambling your brain?
I had a stroke.
So we have 1 toolbox.
We have 1
and 2 tools. The morning pages and the artist date.
Yeah.
And I have this book open to the artist date page, and it says, okay, what does it say? You're supposed to do it alone. You're supposed to, it's like doing something every week that takes time to cultivate your inner artist. So like they have some examples like go visit a great junk store, take a solo trip to the beach, watch an old movie alone, go to the aquarium. So like just little dates by yourself that will sort of open you up to maybe ideas or your inner creativity. So
right.
I was like last night, I was like, oh, I'm coming to the end of my week and I haven't done anything like that, like anything at all. So I was like, what do I feel like doing right now that could be an artist date? And I was like, I feel like, this is going to sound stupid, but I feel like doing a face of makeup. And it was like 10 p.m. and like, whatever. So I like went to the bathroom and I did my face. And I think 2 things that were kind of cool, I think came out of like, and I wasn't like listening to podcasts. I wasn't listening to music. I was just like doing my face and like just thinking. And the first thing that I thought of was like, there's maybe a couple months ago, I did this like cool eye look. And I showed my mom and she was like, wow, that's so good. You know, you should, have you thought about like offering your services to like women in the city or, you know, not women, to like people in the city? And I was like, no, I'm not nearly good enough. I'm still a beginner, and there are so many people who are so much better at this than me. And I was thinking about, why did I say that, and why was that my like initial reaction, was to be like, no, I can't do this on a sort of larger scale. And so that's why I wrote down, I have a belief that there's no point in doing something if I'm not going to be the best at it. And I think that is something that has been with me for like a long time. Like, I kind of feel like, what's the point of doing something if you're just going to be mediocre at it? For me, it's always like a comparison between me and other people, and like,
I'm on the move.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'm on the move. I'm just, that's my sounds.
So like, when it comes to makeup and stuff, I was thinking like, first of all, I'm being a bit ridiculous about my comparator groups. My mom was like, wow, that's so good. And I was like, literally no one would hire me because there's so many better people at it. But the people who I watch do makeup are on YouTube, and they are like prodigies in makeup. And it's like, they're not offering their services in Kingston, Ontario.
That is
right?
So true. That was a really good point.
The best people are not my competitors when it comes to like thinking of this in terms of making a little side business of it or something.
That is such an interesting idea.
Yeah. And then like, even apart from that, even if there was some like really good people doing the same kind of work in Kingston, Ontario, I still don't have to be the best to be good. I don't have to be the best at something to share it or to charge for it or to be happy with the results.
Whoa.
So that's what I sort of came to when I was doing my face. And then the other cool thing was, because like, I don't really care about like the perfect foundation or whatever, but I really like doing like color stuff, eyeshadow stuff, and pairing it with lipstick and blush and that kind of thing.
Right.
So like, I realized the other night that the eye look that I was doing was like really good, noticeably better than I have been in the past.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it was kind of cool because it was like, it made me think how in the creative area of makeup, which I mean, some people might not consider it art, but I kind of do. Like,
it for sure is.
Yeah. I think it no is. In this world, you have one canvas. When you're doing it on yourself, you have one canvas. So you kind of have to like do it and then destroy it. Like you take it off.
Right.
So you have, because I've been thinking like, wow, Jess does art every day, but I do it almost every day too. Like when I do fun shit on my eyes.
Truly.
And it's really cool to see how, like you fucking repeat and you will improve. So it was cool to have it staring me in the face, basically, in the mirror. It's really cool that, like, to see improvement, I guess. Because, like, the other kinds of art that I like and that I do, I don't really do them often enough to see that kind of improvement. But with makeup, I mean, I don't do it that much now that the pandemic's happened. I'm kind of just a big baby in her pajamas all the time. But, like, normally I would do something eyeshadowy almost every day.
Right.
And it kind of reminded me of those monks who make those big artistic works in the sand and then they just cover it up again.
A mandala, kind of?
Yeah, that's the word. Like we've talked about before, I have this block about doing art because once you've done it, there it is, and then you can see the mistakes. And the mistakes exist forever, but when you make a mistake with makeup, you just wipe it off, and then the next day you have a clean canvas again, and the mistakes don't last forever, you know what I mean?
Like, you don't have to always look at them. I guess, like...
Yeah.
I guess that's what selfies are for. Like, I feel like when I started trying to take makeup more seriously, I started to see selfies as... I started to understand them. I know in a past episode we said, like, selfies, but, like... I kind of get it, because it's like, I've just done a work of art on my face. Like, look how much work that I've put into this thing.
Yeah, I also said selfies, but I you should see my photo roll. It's exclusively selfies. I just don't post them anywhere.
Right.
So I don't know, I just had kind of like a cool experience. I was kind of like unexcited to do an artist date, and then I did it and I ended up having all these thoughts that I think were encouraging.
That's wonderful. Like, I'm really inspired by that, because I think I haven't done an artist date in a while. I know you're supposed to do one every week, but I haven't And I've been making excuses, I think, and I don't need to. There was... Okay, I need just 1 second because I read something in this book that I'm reading that made me think of you, and I wanted to quote it, and then I didn't figure it out before we got on this call.
Okay.
But I don't want to not hear what you're saying.
So I just won't say anything. Oh, we'll just wait.
Okay. Oh my god, I found it. Can you believe it? I read 100 pages and I found it in like 2 seconds.
Whoa.
Okay, so what you're saying about, like, some people don't think makeup is art, but I feel like something that I'm starting to understand from the artist's way is, like, creativity is, like, anything that brings you that interest and that human drive, and is, like, about flow and stuff. And so I'm reading, my friend Jackie sent me The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer, and who is, like, a performance artist. She was, I don't know if the Dresden Dolls still exists because I haven't listened to them in a long time. But, like, she's done a lot of, like, performance art.
The Dresden Dolls, were they a band?
Yes.
Okay, I have heard of them.
Yeah, totally.
She was in it?
Yeah, I think there was, like, 2 people in the band and but she's, like, super famous. She had the biggest music Kickstarter ever.
Whoa.
She's pretty interesting. So reading her book is interesting. But, so this part reminded me of you. It said, "The surgeon knows that her work is creative work. A machine can't do it because it requires human delicacy and decision-making. It can't be done by an It can't be done by an automaton because it requires critical thinking and a good dose of winging-itness. Her work requires a balance of self-confidence and collaboration, a blend of intuition and improvisation."
That's so cool.
And, like, it goes on to say some good stuff, like, okay, so if the surgeon, while slicing that vulnerable brain, hits an unexpected bump in the process and needs to ask the person beside her for something essential, and quickly, she has absolutely no time to waste on questions like, do I deserve to ask for this help? Is this person I'm asking really trustworthy? Am I an asshole for having the power to ask in this moment? And it's like,
whoa.
Yeah. It's an interesting book so far, but I liked the part about the surgeon having creative work.
Yeah.
I feel like so often we drive a wedge between art and science and we say, like, this is and this isn't. But actually we know that creativity benefits everything. Creativity is everywhere and good for everything, I guess.
That's so true. I feel like she's maybe saying that it's kind of what makes us human in a way. Like, it is anything that makes use of our uniquely human capabilities, kind of. I think that's really cool. Yeah, no, makeup is art.
It's, like, definitely art. It's, like, 100% art.
I don't know. I guess I feel, like, a little bit embarrassed about it because why?
There's, like, a stigma of things that women do.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a thing that mostly women do. And those things are always, like, relatively looked down upon and frivolous and, like, not serious.
It's definitely for sure art. And I think it's funny that it's so frivolous, but then when it makes people money, like, it's not frivolous, right? Like, you're in the...
Yeah.
Fashion is not frivolous because it makes money, and, like, modeling...
Totally.
On the runway.
And here's the thing. Here's another thing that I'm just gonna say. And I stand by it. Makeup is frivolous. And then all of a sudden, James Charles and Jeffree Star are doing makeup. And all of a sudden, it's, like, the most legit business in the world. And...
Interesting.
I just have to say... I feel a little bit sour about that, about how women have been doing makeup online for years and years and years and starting their own businesses and not being taken seriously. And then a 17-year-old boy starts doing makeup and all of a sudden he's king shit. I don't know. Yeah, so it's a I think traditionally looked down upon because it's considered to be a feminine thing or a female thing. So
yeah, totally. Do you think that offering makeup services would be something that you would want to do?
Well, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like it's on the top of my list of things that I would enjoy doing, actually. Like, I like doing it on myself, but I'm not so sure that I could deal with bridezillas and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, I don't know if that's the kind of creative work that I want to be doing.
Like, creative work that is beholden to somebody else? I wish I was so free as to be able to just say, here it is.
Yeah.
This is your thing. This is what you want. It's something that I wish I was maybe better at, but also don't wish.
Yeah, like making art specifically for other people and like to their specifications and taste is like...
Right.
I don't know.
It's kind of difficult because sometimes people ask you to do things that you don't believe in or you don't agree with.
Yeah.
And...
Oh my God. Like what? Are you thinking of something in particular? Like,
I think I'm just pretty sensitive about it. Like, I have certain values, and like if someone wanted me to make art that displayed something that wasn't
right,
then like I feel a certain resistance to it, and it's harder.
I'm thinking of an example, like if somebody was like, I'm writing a book about hunting birds, will you draw the birds that we're gonna shoot?
Yeah,
like that kind of thing. It might be like no.
Yeah, kind of like that. Or like, even the thing that I'm thinking of is once I did a commission that was 2 birds. It was a male and a female bird, and it was supposed to draw them interacting, and the jokes were a bit sexist almost, on like a bit of a... They were kind of on the border, and I was trying to like twist it into something that I felt good about that they would still like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, can you imagine if you got a commission and someone was like, I want to look like whatever.
I want to look like Halle Berry. I'd be like, I can't.
And they're like white.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yep.
This is not, I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, like makeup isn't really, that's sort of something that I'm just going to do for myself, I think. I have in here a little thing about jealousy. Mm-hmm. Because last week I sort of had a little mini breakthrough about how I feel jealous of the attention that other people get when they show their art. Mm-hmm. And I haven't really like thought about that much this week, just because it's been stupid busy in my household. Like, we're putting the house on the market really soon, and I've just been working. So I haven't really thought about it that much, but I did come across a sentence in The Artist's Way that had the word attention in it, and I was like, oh, that's for me. And it said, so it was under the topic of shame in week 3, and it was about like how sometimes when you're a kid and your parents shit on your creative efforts, it can make you feel it can link creativity and shame together in a young person's mind. And then you feel shame for creating, you feel shame for wanting to create, you feel shame for showing your creations. And I don't think that that's what happened for me, but this sentence says, a lifetime of experience in which needs for recognition are routinely dishonored teaches a young child that putting anything out for attention is a dangerous act. And I don't want to like sit here and say like, oh, my parents were so like shitting on my art, because they really weren't, and they were really encouraging me, and every birthday and Christmas I got art supplies, and they were so like, my parents were really encouraging. That being said, there was one person in my life who was not kind to me as a child. And it didn't even have to do with creativity, but anything I said or did was roundly criticized and shut down and shat upon. And this person, I think, did a lot of harm to me as a child, and I've had a lot of time to think about how I'm working through what she did. And I think that in a way that having that person in my family was something that because we were talking last week about like, where did this like fear of asking for attention come from? And I was like, I don't know. And I think I kind of have an idea now.
Whoa.
This experience of always being shut down was a lesson to me to never put yourself out there. Because if you do, you will be, I don't know what to say other than shat upon, but like you will be treated like an idiot for saying something, or treated like an idiot for asking something, or for, having an opinion, or for being upset, or, anything. So, and then combined with that, growing up in kind of like a waspy family a definitely waspy family where it's like anything gaudy or attention seeking is like, that doesn't jive with us, kind of. You know what I mean? Just like the very, very deep undercurrent of the sort of like white Anglo-Saxons where it's like we just work hard and we keep our heads down and we don't show off, kind of.
Totally.
And so I think what I feel jealous of is like the inhibition with which some people share.
Like the lack of inhibition?
You are right. That's what I meant to say.
What is the opposite of
the
that?
The disinhibition.
Hibition.
You're right. I said it wrong.
Okay,
I feel I feel jealous of the disinhibition with which people share their faces or their art and their like the things that they make, and I think that I'm done with that sentence. Yeah.
I totally get what you're saying. Like, I'm reading this book, The Art of Asking, which is like a beautiful book where Amanda talks about all of these things that she did, like, in her life, sort of her own volition, basically. Like, she wrote angsty teen songs, and she dressed up as this 8-foot tall bride and stood on milk crates as, like,
oh my God,
I think as a college age person. But then she would, like, this is the part that made me feel a certain thing about, like, how my life has turned out, was that she worked at this ice cream shop, and she would be, like, chilling out naked in the freezer to cool off because it was just so hot, and then, like, employees would, like, walk in on her naked, chilling out, and I'm like, I wish that I had that nudity in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And
exactly.
I just felt such, like, a thirst for her connection, her ability to connect to other people, because I feel like when we are shat upon for sharing, it inhibits our ability to connect to people.
Totally.
In our own authentic way. Like, I feel like I wrote angsty teen poetry, but, like, if it was so shameful. It was shameful to write love letters. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, shameful to write or draw anything that was, like, of your soul, I guess. And I'm sort of dealing with some resentment about that, and I don't want to feel that. Like, I want to move through this and, like, move on, but it's painful. It's painful to read that experience of another person and go, like, oh, like, it's that why me again.
Yeah.
And it's painful, but it's good. I'm enjoying the book.
I definitely want to read it. Can you remind me what her name is?
Sure. Her name is Amanda Palmer.
And it's called The Art of Asking?
And, like, on the back, Elizabeth Gilbert wrote a little blurb. Bono wrote a little blurb. Brené Brown wrote a foreword.
Oh, cool.
It's The Art of Asking, or how I learned to stop worrying and let people help.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really, and, like, reading about how, like, she waits in line to sign. Not waits in line. She obviously doesn't wait in line at her own shows, but she, like, has lines, and people come to sign, and she said it's like a mix between a wedding party and I don't remember, mix between what, but, like, she connects with people, and I feel like I am envious of that freedom of spirit.
Totally.
Or I see that freedom of spirit, and I know that that's what I want and wish I had.
Totally. So you're jealous too. It's not just me.
Oh God, no. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, I guess, and I think, like, when I say attention, what do I mean by attention?
Good question.
I want attention. And in a way, there's obviously, like, the superficial aspect of it where it's like, I want people to, you know, think that what I'm doing is really cool and think that I'm talented and think that I'm special or whatever. But it's also like, when somebody pays attention to you, there is a connection made. And, like, even something as simple as posting a picture of your face and somebody goes, hey, cutie, like, that's attention, but it's also, like, a reaching out to form a connection or to maintain a connection or something. And I think, yeah, at one point in The Artist's Way, oh no, it wasn't in The Artist's Way. I was listening to a podcast about, it was this, like, French podcast where this woman, like, interviews female artists, and it was this interview with this woman whose name I completely forget, but the podcast was called Artiste Femme Artiste, and I think she asked her something maybe about feeling like, do you feel a sense of solitude when you're doing your work? And the woman said, no, because the work that I do, like, I feel art as a connection. Like, when I make a piece, when I paint something, I am putting myself and my message into it and out there. And then when somebody looks at it, they are receiving that message and then, you know, pouring their own message into it as well. And it's like a type of connection between two people. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, like, that's the kind of, I just think that's really, I want that. Like, I want that.
Totally. Like,
that sounds great.
Yeah, doesn't it? Freaking doesn't it?
Sounds like fun. Sounds good.
The idea of like what is attention reminded me of this thing. My mom, I don't know if we've talked about this, but my mom on the podcast, but my mom is doing like a hypnotism thing. And so I was talking to her about something, about when people want something that is like say you want to be thinner, or you want to be a basketball star, or you want to have attention. There's like a chain of questions that you can go through to like think about your values, and then think about if there's other ways to get the things that you actually are trying to get. So what my mom said was, if you had attention, then what would it give you? What would you have?
Yeah.
Or like, what is important about that? And I think, I wonder if the answer is connection, or if the answer is something else.
Yeah, I probably have to, it's probably not just connection. It's probably, there's something else lurking under there, I feel.
And then if you like knew what it was, you could be like, oh, actually, I could get that from another thing, or like take action towards values, as Mark Freeman would say.
Yeah. Julia says, jealousy is a roadmap towards what you want, right? Something like that.
Something like that. Jealousy is some kind of map.
So if I'm jealous of attention, but then I need to sort of like dig, why do I crave attention? What am I really craving?
But that jealousy map was, so there was just 3 columns. Like, one was like who, why, and then the next one was action. So it's like, what do you do to take a step towards what they have? Basically, it's like, if you're jealous of someone in particular, then it's you want what they have and you need to move towards it, I guess. So that would be putting yourself out there yet again.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it.
Are you? How's that going?
I had this script for a video, and then I reread it, and I've been like editing it to hell, and then I reread it the other day, and I'm just it's not doing it for me. I'm not happy with it. And then also I made a birthday purchase for myself. Well, I made 2. One of them is the really sparkly nail polishes, which I'm so excited about. Yes. And then the other one is like a little, just like this thing, like a stand. Right. A clip-on stand, and then a light that you can clip onto it.
Whoa.
And those come in 5 days.
That's exciting.
I've been sort of like making little investments in just like basic, very cheap equipment, and like sort of thinking about whether I want to continue to edit this script, or if I want to maybe start work on something else.
Like in parallel?
Yeah, work on them in parallel. And then, so I'm kind of like, I have been thinking and pondering and praying. Just kidding, I don't pray. And, putting energy towards it this week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that's been forgotten. It's like you're actively...
No. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I feel like so often, like in our creative lives, we pick something up and then we get discouraged right at the start.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, and then we just like move on and we decide, oh, like I guess that wasn't for me. But it's like, no, like this is a happening thing. It's a thing.
Yeah, totally.
That's wonderful.
Do you want to talk about opening up the bag of wine yeast?
Dude.
Whoa. I think that said all you needed to say.
I know. That's what it was like. It was like, I think it was yesterday. We like went and got the mail. Oh.
Sorry. I apologize for that. You like that, didn't you?
Yeah. You just couldn't keep it in.
I couldn't keep it in. Oh no. Sorry, yesterday you went to pick it up.
Sorry. So yesterday we went and picked up the mail. And I was kind of excited, but like as soon as I had it in my hands, I was like, oh no. And then I like got home and I opened the package and there was all my little yeast that I ordered in their little packs, and I like picked it up and I was kind of like, I had this like still like a fear.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes from sort of what you were saying about being able to step out or to make a mistake and have the mistake go unpunished.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like, I think it's like the idea of making mistakes, and I feel like it makes me really uncomfortable to think of like doing this thing, taking a chance on this little seedling of an interest, and then doing it in such a public space, which is like my parents' house,
mm-hmm.
and then having to make space for judgment and criticism.
Yeah.
Totally well-meaning or unintentioned, whatever you want to call it, but like the feeling of picturing myself picking dandelions and like cutting the yellow petals off and boiling them on the stove. Like having to spend time boiling something on the stove where you're like, it's like being out in the open when there's a sniper in the bush, kind of.
Oh my God.
I don't know, like it would be
That's
funny because I
normal.
feel like, well, I don't know. That's how I feel. That's probably not necessarily what's real.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course.
But I have a fear, founded or not, of making public mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also like I feel like it's very shameful in my family to waste.
Yeah.
If you're making cookies or something, like they better turn out because you don't want to have wasted a cup of flour.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
or
no.
Like, I know. And so like
that's so oppressive. Like
it is damaging to creativity, I think I would say.
Totally.
Because I feel like with creativity you have to be able to waste, and I feel like there's a lot of people that I talk to about creativity that feel like they can't use their good stationery, they can't use their good paint.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I try to tell people and to live an example of using, because art supplies are for using, and you can get more. Like I feel like there's this very scary feeling of scarcity.
Yeah. Okay, but like I have this vision of you like out clipping dandelions, and like if you're acquiring the things that you need yourself and like you're not using anybody's flour, like it doesn't seem like this is really much of a wasteful activity.
I think the wasteful part is the one that I want to make is cranberry wine, and I didn't pick the cranberries myself, so I probably won't be doing that. But dandelion wine, I pick it myself. But like, to even ask for resources like bleach to bleach out the milk jugs, and like to ask for space, and so I think it's going to be a real artistic effort to make this space for myself to forge through this discomfort and do it anyway is quite an exercise. Totally. So I was very uncomfortable holding this yeast in my hand. I put it in the fridge, and my mom came in the kitchen when I was doing it, and she said, and I didn't want her to like take it out and throw it out or something, or like decide that it doesn't belong in the fridge. I said something about like, don't touch this yeast because it's wine yeast. And she said something like sort of jokingly, but she said like, you're not making wine. Like, don't.
Oh.
And I'm like, and it was a joke.
Yeah.
As to understand, like, I still could, but it was like.
Withering.
It's withering.
Oh, that's tough.
But I'm doing it anyway. Like, I think.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Like, I see that and it hurts. But I need to move forward. And like Greg was saying, like, why do you care so much about other people's approval? Like, why does it matter so much? And I don't know. Ain't that just the question?
Totally.
So I felt the fear. I felt the hurt. And then today we went into town and I went to the grocery store and I bought a lime. Not a lime. Why did I say lime? I bought a lemon. And I bought 3 oranges.
Ooh. Are you going to make lemon orange wine?
Yeah, so the ingredients in dandelion wine are lemon juice and I think juice, but zest for sure. So there's zest, and then I bought craisins, and I bought a certain amount of weight of party balloons. So,
whoa.
It's like, I don't know what it is. It was like a quarter pound, I think.
Oh,
it was like a quarter pound of party balloons, because that's all they had.
I didn't know that party balloons were sold by weight.
No, neither did I, and it doesn't say how big they are either, and you can't see into the package, so I'm just gonna hope that they're not the water balloon size party balloons.
And it's like party.
Yeah, and also on it, the title of this balloon bag was called Unique Balloons, and I'm like, please don't be in other shapes. I literally just want
It's gonna be like
round.
A dick-shaped balloon.
And they're all different.
Yeah. Ew. It's like bachelorette party balloons. You're like, oh.
Yeah. No. Oh. And my mom like looks at my fermenting.
Look, they go from flaccid to hard.
Yeah, wow. It's the whole thing. So I felt it and I did it anyway. I'm making a continued investment.
Good.
And I'm gonna pick dandelions today.
How much do you think you were motivated by the fact that you knew that you would have to talk to me about it?
I opened the bag and I was like, I'm gonna have to tell Fiona that I opened the bag and I felt like shit. So I feel like the accountability is really powerful still, because I feel like it's easy to let it slip away.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think that there's it seems like there's two different issues. There's the sort of guilt of using up resources.
Right.
And then there's the second part of it, which is this almost prejudgment, this sort of disbelief that you are going to do it, or
right.
almost discouragement.
Yeah. Discouragement. And I think also last night I was just in a pit of despair, just in general. It was worries took over, and I think when that happens I go, you know what, we're not going to make any plans for the future because they're going to be miserable plans. And I just try to not focus on the worries, because I'm like, tomorrow this is going to look different, from a new perspective this is going to look different. But last night I was picturing doing all of this stuff, enduring all of the discouragement and doing it anyway, and feeling the discomfort of doing things publicly where I could make a mistake or be criticized, feeling or judgment, doing it anyway, and then getting to the end, whatever, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks from now, where I have this wine and then watch it turn out like shit. Watch it be bad. After I did all this, and for someone to taste it and think this is disgusting and you really did waste it. And I think the part of me that worries sees that and goes that is too painful. That is a painful thing. And then the other part of me goes in any other situation where I didn't face any judgment. My parents are wonderful people, by the way. It sounds like they're awful, but this is just sort of internalized stuff that's bubbling up, and I'm bubbling off of me as if I am a vat of hot tar.
Or hot dandelion wine.
Hot dandelion wine. It's bubbling up and I'm dealing with it and I'm healing it, so that's why it's coming up now. But so I thought in any other situation, it would just be an experiment. It comes back to what we were talking about, with encouragement, an action becomes practice instead of, you made wine once, you sucked at it, it was bad, you're not going to be good at it.
It tasted like piss.
Exactly. And
it'll just be version 1.
I know, but it's very difficult to move on from version 1 if the process has been really painful.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What if you asked the people who are going to try your wine, whoever they may be, to refrain from disparaging remarks because it's version 1 and you're just still learning?
I feel like I agree with you, and I could say that if I was clever enough to turn it into a joke, but I feel like sincerity and sensitivity is a punishable offense. Mm-hmm. But I think if I could turn it into a joke, I would be golden.
Yeah. That's so funny. A lot of the times, I need to say something really important, so I'll just turn it into a joke so that it's palatable.
Right.
We have to do that so much, I think.
Yeah.
When people make sexist jokes or something, you have to be you have to call them out, but you have to be funny while doing it, or else you're like...
and gentle and...
Yeah, exactly. Or else you're just a humorless bitch.
Yeah, totally. And I think it also reminds me of, like, Brené Brown and being, like, shaming people. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't want to make anyone feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, you want to tell the truth, but also shame is not a powerful tool of the revolution, sort of.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that it would be nice to...
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking... It's funny, like, with my mom's hypnosis course, the first... We might have talked about this already, but the first, like, while, you are only allowed to give positive feedback.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I kind of only want positive feedback.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be swell?
I know.
If we could just only ever.
Yeah, but I think, like, I don't know, it reminds me of Linda Berry and how, like, who is a illustrator, cartoonist, general, wonderful ray of sunshine. She sees things for what they are. She sees things and she, like, encourages what they are instead of... Yeah. Which we have also already talked about. This makes me feel like I only have, like, one thing to say, which is, you know, be nice. Or something. Not be nice, but...
Criticism sucks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you have any signing off, anything for, like, a feeling about... Do you have any goodwill for the week?
Anything.
Like, what are you excited about?
I feel excited. Like, I'm super excited. My equipment, my little filming equipment comes on the 10th. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna, like, schedule the 11th for doing some test shots and, like, starting to think, I don't even know how you go about planning what to film. And so I'm just gonna, like, jump in and just see what it's like. And I'm really excited about that. And I also, I ordered, like, on the same, I feel like all I do is just, like, order shit online and spend money. But, like, I bought a huge tube of white acrylic paint and new paintbrushes.
Oh my god.
Because I was feeling like, you know, I have these acrylic paints and I would love to paint, but I can't.
Freaking out of white.
And I can't use them up because, like, I only have a little tube of white, so I have to be really careful. Or I have to paint, like, really tiny paintings to, like, save paint. And I was like, no, that's stupid. Just order some white paint. Like, it's fine. It's like $9. You can swing it. So totally. Yeah. So I have
that. Oh my god.
I have good things coming, and I'm really excited.
That's wonderful. I feel like you just hit the nail on the head with painting small paintings.
Yeah. Because I was like, that would be, like, a good way to, like,
make it last
save
longer.
the paint. But then it's like, that's not what I want to do. Like,
oh my god.
That's not what I want to do at all. And that would be so like me to, like, save resources by just making tiny things. But
right, like suffering, basically.
Yeah. Tiny little pointillism pictures or something. Be like, I hate this.
Every moment you're like, this isn't the art that I want to make.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. I'm excited about that for you. And I'm excited to hear what comes of it. Like,
yeah, and I'm pumped for your pissy wine.
Yeah, me too.
Whether it tastes delicious or whether it tastes like piss.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited to pick dandelions. What?
Yeah. If it tastes like piss, can't you just, like, put sugar in it or something?
Maybe. I don't know. That's worth exploring. But I also feel like it's okay to just dump it out.
Yeah. It's also bad. Like, yeah. You're like, ooh, we're gonna put some sugar in this and then choke it down every day for the next 2 weeks.
Can you imagine your daily ration of nasty piss wine? Drink your piss wine.
Oh no.
Okay. I guess that's it for this week. So if you thanks for listening.
Did that feel inauthentic? I'm sorry. I don't mean to shit on your.
I am being shat upon.
I'm so sorry. Oh.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Do you have anything else to say?
No, I think we just want to put it out there that we've made an email address. So if you want to share with us, maybe you're like me and you haven't done art in a million years, and maybe you are trying to make an investment in some sort of creative endeavor, tell us, do it first, and then tell us. And the email address is
arthorsepod@gmail.com. Were you waiting for me to say
yes, because I do not remember.
Okay. ARTHORSE pod@gmail.com.
Yeah, and then should we talk about the Instagram?
Yeah, and we've also got an Instagram @arthorsepod.
So what do? Follow? Subscribe? Follow us there. We're going to be putting like any sort of like artistic thing that we talk about that we're working on or that we create and we talk about, we're going to, for the most part, we're going to put
perks. We're going to put pictures. We're going to put visual content.
Visual content, yeah. And we're going to put them on the Instagram. So go follow us there. And it would be cool also if you sent us like pictures of things that you make, and we might be able to put that on the Instagram.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love it if we had like a post every week that was like, these are pictures from everyone who is working towards creativity.
Yeah, it would be like a little art party every week.
Oh my god, art party.
Art party.
You know I love an art party.
I know you love an art party.
Okay. Cool. Peace.
Peace.
Okay.